California, 2025. The housing market here isn't just cooling off, it's shattering, splintering, and collapsing under its own inflated weight. Prices statewide are still floating stubbornly above $750,000, but the buyers? They've vanished like a mirage in the Mojave. Inventory is flooding the market, up more than 60% in some areas, while the average mortgage bill has swollen to over $6,500 a month. And with incomes barely budging, that gap between dreams and reality is now a canyon no one can leap. Foreclosures are spiking, some cities up 45% year over year. Homes that once sparked bidding wars are now languishing for months, their price tags slashed like end-of-season clearance sales. From coastal enclaves to inland suburbs, the California dream is twisting into something far darker, entire neighborhoods drifting toward ghost town status. We're talking about communities where bustling shopping centers now echo with emptiness, schools are losing students, and for sale signs outnumber welcome mats. Behind the manicured lawns and sunlit facades, the cracks are widening. The question isn't if the crash will hit your city, it's how hard. Let's walk through the 10 California cities that may be on the fast track to becoming America's next real estate cautionary tales. Number 1, Irvine. Irvine has always been the polished jewel of Orange County master plan perfection, sky-high safety rankings, manicured parks, and schools that could make a private academy jealous. But in 2025, that shine is starting to blind for all the wrong reasons. The median home price here is an eye-watering $1.62 million. With mortgage rates near 6.9%, that's over $10,000 a month just to own a median house, and that's before property taxes, HOA fees, and rising insurance premiums. Even six-figure earners are getting squeezed. Inventory is up 63% from last year, and the average time on market has ballooned from 12 days during the 2021 frenzy to 66 days today. Nearly 38% of listings have seen price cuts. Foreign investment, once a major driver of Irvine's luxury market, has slowed to a trickle thanks to global economic uncertainty and tighter lending rules. Rentals offer no relief. A two-bedroom averages $3,950 a month, yet vacancies are climbing as renters head inland or leave California altogether. Net migration has turned negative, school enrollments are down 4.1%, and office vacancies have risen 22%. If prices don't adjust or policy doesn't intervene, Irvine risks becoming exactly what its critics fear, a glittering suburb with too many empty homes and not enough people to fill them. Would you pay top dollar to live in a city where the grass is perfect, but your neighbors are moving out? Number 2, Stockton. Stockton knows what a housing crash feels like. It was ground zero during the 2008 meltdown, with one of the worst foreclosure rates in the country. The city clawed its way back, even shedding its bankruptcy stigma. But in 2025, the warning lights are flashing again. The median home price is $420,000, down from $475,000 in 2022, a 12% drop. On paper, that might look manageable, but it's paired with a 55% surge in listings and a steep drop in demand. With rates around 6.8%, a median-priced home now costs over $2,850 a month to finance. For a city with a $62,000 median household income, that's a deal-breaker for most buyers. Foreclosures are up 38% since mid-2024, largely from people who bought during the pandemic frenzy with little equity. Rentals are stuck around $1,750, but rising vacancies mean landlords are cutting deals or slashing prices. Population is down 2.9% since the remote work peak of 2021, and unemployment has crept to 6.8% as retail, logistics, and public service jobs dry up. Some neighborhoods, once buzzing with construction, now have rows of empty homes and fading for sale signs. For Stockton, the fear is déjà vu, another cycle of falling prices, abandoned houses, and a slow climb back. Would you risk living here knowing the last crash took a decade to recover from? Number 3, Bakersfield. Bakersfield, the so-called energy capital of California, was one of the biggest winners of the pandemic housing surge. Remote workers, investors, and families poured in, chasing lower prices and bigger lots. But in 2025, that wave has turned and it's pulling the market under. The median home price is around $390,000, down from a $440,000 peak in late 2022, an 11% slide. Affordable by California standards, sure, but demand has dried up. Listings have exploded 58% year over year, and the average home now sits unsold for 61 days, double the time from early 2023. The median household income here is $63,000, but a new buyer's mortgage easily crosses $2,600 a month with rates near 6.9%. Many who rushed in during the remote work boom are now looking to get out, sometimes at a loss. Foreclosures have jumped 41%, and underwater mortgages are reappearing, especially in newer West Side subdivisions. The local economy isn't providing a safety net. Oil, agriculture, and logistics, Bakersfield's pillars, are all under pressure. Layoffs in warehousing and lower oil demand have pushed unemployment to 7.1%. Retail centers are pockmarked with big box closures, and commercial vacancies are up 19%. Bakersfield once felt like a rising star in the Central Valley. Now, quiet streets and shuttered storefronts hint at a slowdown that could turn into a long freeze. Would you buy here if the cheap house came with a high risk of losing value? Number 4, Riverside. Riverside used to be the inland refuge, the place families turned to when coastal prices pushed them out. Affordable homes, a growing job market, and enough space to stretch out. But in 2025, even this inland empire stronghold is feeling the crash. The median home price now stands at $565,000, up 68% from 2018. With mortgage rates above 6.6%, a median home demands over $3,800 a month in payments, while the median household income sits at $74,000. That affordability gap is pushing buyers to pause, relocate, or give up entirely. Inventory is up 47% year over year, and the average home now lingers for 59 days compared to just 21 2 years ago. 1 in 3 homes has seen a price cut, and sellers are increasingly dangling incentives like rate buydowns just to lure offers. Foreclosures have jumped 39%, especially among FHA buyers who entered with little equity during the pandemic frenzy. On the rental side, average rent is $2,650, but vacancies are creeping up. Riverside's economy isn't helping. Logistics and warehousing, its economic backbone, are contracting as shipping demand slows, nudging unemployment to 5.9%. Retail vacancies are up 14%, and some strip malls look frozen in time. If the current slide continues, Riverside could join the list of post-boom ghost towns, where inflated prices and industry dependence leave whole neighborhoods half-occupied. Would you gamble on this market knowing it's one industry hiccup away from another collapse? Number 5, Modesto. Modesto once wore the badge of affordability proudly. It was the safe haven for Bay Area transplants fleeing sky-high prices, a place where you could still own a house without auctioning off your sanity. But in 2025, that promise is cracking. The median home price is about $410,000, down 11% from its 2022 peak of $460,000. That may sound like a buyer's market, but the reality is messy. Active listings have surged 52% in the past year, and buyers are scarce. With mortgage rates pushing 6.8%, a typical monthly payment here is over $2,800, a steep climb for a city where the median household income is just $66,000. The pandemic boom brought in remote workers and investors, but that wave has reversed. Population is down 1.7% in the last year, rents have stagnated at $1,800, and foreclosures are up 34%. Underwater mortgages have reached 13%, and delinquencies are climbing, especially east of McHenry Avenue and south of downtown. Commercial areas are feeling the pain. Retail vacancies top 18%, unemployment sits at 6.4%, and job losses in service and warehousing are taking their toll. Modesto's old reputation as a cost-friendly escape is fading fast, replaced by a new image, a market with shrinking demand, falling prices, and too many for-sale signs. Would you move here if it meant a cheaper house but higher odds of your neighborhood emptying out? Number 6, Tustin. Tustin used to be Orange County's sweet spot, central, charming, and just affordable enough to be a gateway into the region for families who couldn't stomach Irvine or Newport Beach prices. But in 2025, even Tustin has been swept into California's housing freefall. The median home price now hovers around $1.21 million, an 87% surge since 2019. With mortgage rates around 6.7%, that's a $7,000 a month payment for the median house against a median household income of roughly $115,000. The math simply doesn't work for most buyers, so inventory has shot up 42% year over year. Days on market have tripled from the 2021 frenzy, now averaging 54 days, and 35% of listings are seeing price cuts. Some sellers are even pulling homes off the market entirely rather than accept lowball offers. Rentals aren't much better. Rents average $3,300 a month, but vacancy rates have jumped from 4.5% to 7.1%. Small businesses are feeling the squeeze, with commercial vacancies up 22% and restaurants struggling to fill seats. The population has slipped 2.4% since 2022, and foreclosure filings are up 28%, especially for homeowners with adjustable-rate mortgages from the pandemic boom. Tustin still has its historic neighborhoods and small-town charm, but they're being drowned out by financial stress and empty storefronts. The question is whether the city can reinvent itself before the slide becomes permanent. Would you buy here knowing your mortgage could eat 2/3 of your paycheck? Number 7, San Clemente. San Clemente has always felt like a living postcard: Spanish-style rooftops, golden bluffs, and waves crashing beneath a sunset that looks painted. For decades, it's been a magnet for wealthy retirees, surfers, and vacation homeowners. But in 2025, paradise is getting too expensive even for the people who can afford paradise. The median home price now sits at a jaw-dropping $1.72 million, which is more than double its long-term historical trend. Mortgage rates near 6.7% mean a typical 30-year fixed loan costs about $9,800 per month, a number so high that nearly all median income earners are locked out. In fact, only the top 10% of households can realistically buy here. Listings are up 49% year over year, and almost 40% of homes on the market are cutting prices. Even rentals aren't immune. Average two-bedroom rent is $3,750, but occupancy rates have fallen 5.2%, forcing landlords to offer concessions not seen since the Great Recession. Tourism, once the city's safety net, is fraying. Boutique hotels are battling soaring insurance costs, some beachfront businesses have shuttered, and downtown sales are down 16% from last year. San Clemente still has its beauty, but beauty alone doesn't cover the mortgage. Without a major correction, this seaside gem risks becoming a very quiet, very expensive shell. Would you take ocean views if it meant living in a ghost town? Number 8, Aliso Viejo. Aliso Viejo was designed to be the picture-perfect modern suburb, a master-planned community tucked into South Orange County's rolling hills, with neat streets, manicured parks, and the promise of stability. But in 2025, the glossy brochure version is starting to look like an overexposed photo. The median home price sits at about $1.02 million, nearly 88% above the historical average for similar-sized Southern California suburbs. That leap was fueled by pandemic-era scarcity and speculative buying, but now the tables have turned. Listings are up 45% year over year, and homes linger on the market for 56 days on average, 4 times longer than in early 2023. The math is punishing for new buyers. Household incomes average $112,000, yet monthly mortgage payments top $6,400 before taxes and insurance. First-time buyers? Forget it. Interest rates are locking them out entirely. Population is down 3% over the past 18 months, and landlords are throwing in 1-month free deals to fill rentals. Office parks along Aliso Viejo Parkway are bleeding tenants, commercial vacancies have climbed 21%, and shopping centers are seeing anchor stores rethink their leases. The biggest red flag? Foreclosures. They've surged 31% in just the first quarter of 2025, with many owners who bought during the peak now walking away from homes worth less than their loans. Aliso Viejo's clean, quiet streets remain, but the silence feels less like peace and more like warning. Would you move here if your dream home might turn into a financial anchor? Number 9, Costa Mesa. Costa Mesa used to have that rare balance, the creative energy of an arts district wrapped in the convenience of central Orange County living. But in 2025, that charm is bending under the weight of a housing market that's sprinted far beyond economic reality. The median home price hit $1.38 million in early 2025, nearly 95% higher than it was in 2019. Inventory? Up 41% year over year. And the days on market stat has gone from a brisk 19 days to a sluggish 52. The income to cost ratio is brutal. With a median household income around $113,000, a typical mortgage here now tops $7,800 a month, eating more than 90% of many families' take-home pay. That's pricing out the very creatives, tech workers, and entrepreneurs who once gave Costa Mesa its cultural heartbeat. Rentals aren't the safety net they used to be. The average rent is $3,450, and even that's driving a 2.8% population decline over the last 2 years. Vacant storefronts are multiplying. Beloved gathering spots like the lab and the camp still draw visitors, but boutique shops are shuttering, and commercial lease rates are down 17%. Office availability has surged 26%, hinting that remote work and business flight are hollowing out the local economy. Costa Mesa hasn't lost its soul entirely, but the lights are dimming. The question is, will they flicker back on or fade for good? Number 10, Mission Viejo. Mission Viejo was once the Orange County poster child for stable, suburban affluence, a place where tree-lined streets, spotless parks, and a top-ranked school district made it a no-brainer for families. But in 2025, the safe bet label is peeling away fast. The median home price here hovers around $1.24 million, an 83% rocket ride since 2020 that now feels more like a bubble about to pop. Listings are up 38% year over year, while buyer interest has plummeted 27%. Homes that once vanished from the market in under 2 weeks are now gathering dust for 45 days or more. The real killer? Affordability. The typical household income is $117,000, yet a 20% down mortgage at today's 6.7% interest will burn $7,100 a month, swallowing more than 70% of gross income. That math sends younger buyers running inland to Menifee or Murrieta, leaving a trail of unsold houses and anxious sellers. Even local landmarks like the shops at Mission Viejo are showing wear. Vacancy rates are climbing, restaurant closures are up 12%, and foot traffic feels thinner. Population has slipped 2.1% since 2022, and school enrollments are down 5%. The suburbs' manicured calm now carries an uneasy silence, as if the city knows it's sliding toward ghost town territory. Would you live here if it meant your mortgage was higher than your take-home pay? So, there you have it, 10 California cities teetering on the edge, from postcard-perfect coastal enclaves to inland affordable havens that aren't looking so affordable anymore. Whether it's $10,000 a month mortgages in Irvine, boutique shops closing in Costa Mesa, or underwater homeowners in Bakersfield, the pattern is the same: prices soared, reality caught up, and now the bill is due. What's striking isn't just the numbers, it's the human side. Families leaving schools mid-year. Once busy restaurants replaced by 4 lease signs. Streets that still look pristine, but where the silence feels heavier. California's housing dream has always been expensive, but now it's feeling fragile. And if this downturn deepens, these ghost towns in the making might be less of a prediction and more of a postcard from the future. So, what do you think? Would you grab a bargain in one of these cities if it meant living with the risk of falling prices, or would you get out while you still can? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like if you enjoyed the ride, and subscribe if you want more unfiltered looks at how cities rise and fall. Because the next list? It might be about your hometown.